Welcome to London, the libel capital of the world. Uri Geller pursues Britain's biggest tabloid and American television over his relationship with Michael Jackson.
I do not understand how an editor of such a big newspaper allows his journalists to print such garbage. This is a very big column. It's about celebrities. It's about show business. Look at this insulting headline. Uri Sillyberg. It said, I'm in business with Michael Jackson. Not only cutting an album, but with this song they're going to save the world from the financial problems. This is making me look like a hypocrite. And that's what made me pick up the phone and call Paul Tweed.
Uri's lawyer, Paul Tweed, is an internationally renowned libel lawyer with a clutch of other celebrity clients, including Britney Spears, Liam Neeson and J-Lo.
And I've got to take Uri's reputation as it was 20 seconds before that article hit the newsstands. So it's against that background that I'm reading the article, and I have to decide, has his reputation been lowered in the minds of right-thinking people?
Hello, Mr. Paul Tweed.
The story tells people that, hey, I'm Michael Jackson's buddy, and I do these strange and weird things. If I would read anything like this in this newspaper about anyone else, I would believe that.
Yes.
The way I contacted Simon Cowell and discussions with Michael Jackson. Yes, I used to know Michael Jackson. Everyone knows that. But it's been now at least 2 or 3 years, maybe even 4 years, that I haven't been in touch with him.
They've quite clearly stated that you have been in conversation with Michael Jackson, you're no contact with him whatsoever. That is highly defamatory.
I do not understand how an editor of such a big newspaper allows his journalists to print such garbage.
They should always ask the subject of the article,
Exactly.
Is this true? I just want to explain those aspects of the article that I feel we should take action in relation to. There is a significant distinction between an allegation that is defamatory and what would be regarded as mere vulgar abuse. Now, for instance, it refers to you as a silly Burke, which is, gratuitous, offensive comment. But if that was the only basis of this article, I'd be saying, leave it. It's just ignore it, turn the other cheek. But the article totally undermines your reputation and your credibility. Anyone who has read this article and then subsequently hears you deny that you've had any contact with Michael Jackson automatically assumes you're lying. You're a hypocrite. You're a man that cannot be relied on.
Absolutely.
And that will be the focus of the legal proceedings that I'm now advising that we issue.
It's only 4 days since Michael Jackson's death, but Paul Tweed has to see Uri about a surprising discovery he's made about the source of the story that appeared in The Sun.
Incredible as this might seem, the basis of the story was an email that was passed to The Sun that was purportedly from Uri to Simon Cowell, indicating that Uri and, quote, his friend Michael Jackson would combine their respective mental powers to solve the economic crisis. Now, I don't know, I would be very reluctant to make any specific comments on this, but I find it quite incredible, obviously, that a story should be based solely on this piece of information.
Paul wants to show Uri a copy of the email that the article was based on.
To my dear friend Simon, and this is purportedly from you, it has come to my attention that the world we currently inhabit has become prey to the negative forces that occasionally take control in this universe and save the world. All my respect, Uri Geller Freud.
It's absolutely not me. I don't use these type of phrases, and I never sign Uri Geller Freud, although my name in my passport is Uri Geller Freud, but that's common knowledge. Everyone knows that.
We exchange emails on a regular basis, and I'm very familiar with your style of writing, the style of email you send. You have never, in any of your emails, used the last name Freud. That is absolutely nothing like the style of your approach. Absolutely nothing. But I find it quite incredible that the paper latched onto this and published.
Any journalist would immediately know that an email can be faked easily. And the Sun's mistake was simply not to do the very simple thing and pick up the phone and call me.
Yeah. The Sun are saying that they did attempt to contact you, and if they couldn't get hold of you, of course, the simple answer is they shouldn't have published.
The connection between Uri Geller and Michael Jackson has now led to another libel case. In the aftermath of Jackson's death, Uri believes he has been libeled again on American television, and he wants Paul Tweed to see the threats that have resulted.
Hi Uri, Paul here. We're just on the way. I said just landed at Heathrow, so I'll be out with you in about 25 minutes, hopefully.
The libel stems from Uri's involvement with the infamous 2003 documentary when Martin Bashir interviewed Jackson.
All right, how are you personally on incline dealing with all this?
But in the coverage of the star's death on Larry King Live, one of Jackson's doctors, Arnold Klein, claimed that Uri made money out of that introduction.
In their script, which was available on CNN, today when you say something on television, it's immediately on the internet. And even if you try to remove it, if the people will agree to remove it, the offending line, it stays in the cache of Google. So anyone really searching will find it.
And now Uri has received a deluge of hate mail from angry Michael Jackson fans.
You know, when the documentary came out, the money went to a good cause. So lots of sick children probably benefited from the money that was raised for that documentary. This is the worst thing that could have been said about me in the last decades.
And it was just downright false.
And it was on a national, global, it was on a global network that broadcasts worldwide.
Yeah. So anything that they broadcast is going to have that bit more credibility. You have got evidence. We can show to them the damage that's been caused to you by these poisonous emails that have been coming into you. And it's because you're so well known that this has happened. Totally wrong. Totally false. Should never have been broadcast in the first place. We know that it's wrong, but the world out there doesn't. And so he's having to take the pain. We put them on notice that they need to broadcast a full and proper and categoric retraction and apology. He is also entitled to substantial damages for the injury to his reputation. They caused the damage, they've got to pay the price, and they've got to correct the damage caused.
The Sun have now agreed there is no factual basis to the splash piece they wrote, linking Uri, Michael Jackson and Simon Cowell. Uri's lawyer, Paul Tweed, knows what he wants from the apology.
This was a fairly high-profile article. You certainly couldn't miss it, and so I would expect them to reciprocate by giving the apology, a very, very prominent position towards the front of the paper.
The reality when it arrives is very different.
Well, the apology was published. Obviously, as you can see here, it was a relatively small, we call them the postage stamp apologies.
However, Paul makes the best of it.
The whole trick is to ensure that you get appropriate prominence in the paper. So we've got above the crease, close to the front of the paper, so that people will pick it up. The BBC, among others, picked it up and gave it a good headline coverage. A number of the newspapers as well gave coverage. Uri was very satisfied once the record had been set straight.
As Paul Tweed hosts a party in London for his clients, he wants to talk to Uri about the CNN position. The broadcaster is reluctant to settle over a claim on American television that he'd sold Michael Jackson to Martin Bashir.
It is such a black and white issue. Klein made an absolutely outrageous allegation, totally untrue, Now, CNN published what they're describing as a clarification, but it didn't go nearly far enough.
In connection with a comment made by our guest, Dr. Arnold Klein, on Wednesday's program, we were contacted by Uri Geller, who said he did not personally receive any money whatsoever in connection with the Martin Bashir interview of Michael Jackson. The doctor had said he did.
The big difficulty that I am up against is that CNN, in common with all American broadcasters and publishers, are very sensitive about their First Amendment rights, about their freedom of speech issues, and it's a very frustrating and difficult area for, you know, a UK lawyer like me to deal with. They just do not want to have to concede anything that might compromise what they perceive as their fundamental rights there. But we are seeking the apology be published is what we want. We want online, something in permanent form that's going to be out there. And we are seeking damages, substantial damages. But they wanted this proof that you have not benefited financially, personally, from the Bashir interview.
Of course not.
And more importantly, even again, that any monies that were paid have gone straight to charity. We got this letter in from Tim Drucker.
Who is my personal solicitor.
Absolutely. And so we now have a letter stating in clear and categoric terms that 3 charities were the beneficiaries of any monies that were paid.
I did not profit a penny out of the monies that ITV paid. It all went to charity, every penny.
Even they have to accept that, you know, not only that they've published something false, but that it has led to ongoing damage of a very serious nature to you.
All those millions of people who saw it and believe in it, because it's there, it's written out there.
So I'm hoping that this will get the case put over the line and we can get the settlement.
Okay.
Paul Tweed has an outline settlement that he's negotiated with CNN to present to Uri. But there's a condition that could pose a problem for him. Uri's determined the public know the truth about him. CNN are demanding that what is agreed is totally confidential.
You know, we're in this position today where, you know, we've obviously got to make decisions. What does a confidentiality agreement normally entail? You cannot indicate if you've been paid damages, never mind the amount of damages. You can't indicate the fact of damages and costs. You cannot discuss the fact of a settlement. That's a compromise that a client has to decide whether to make it or not. I've got to speak to him today, and if he accepts that, that's his call.
Hey, Paul, good to see you. Thank you for coming.
There is a confidentiality clause. All you can say is basically the statement that we have agreed, and what you can do is you can then refer. Then we're allowed, if somebody asks you to say, look, please to say that the case has now been settled on amicable terms, but I would refer you to the CNN website.
Okay.
Everyone has parted in good terms here. Really what we have agreed, you know, we can state that the matter has been resolved amicably.
Yes.
Between the parties on confidential terms. That's as far as I can go.
Okay. I think Paul worked very, very hard to get to this amicable settlement, which is, in today's day and age, is quite normal. I am obviously elated that I can refer anyone to check out their website. The process has been terminated. That's it. I'm very, very happy.
Paul Tweed is in no doubt that Uri's settlement is in his best interest, but he is worried about the increasing pressure for confidentiality. He fears the public simply won't be aware that what they read or saw was wrong and eventually corrected.
Well, certainly, I mean, if it was my case, if I was bringing a libel, I wouldn't agree to confidentiality, I can tell you that, you know, I wouldn't. But having said that, there are these financial considerations and enforcement considerations. I would say of the UK cases we're acting in, at the most 10% will be subject to a confidentiality clause, at the very most, against 100% of the American cases. If they say they want confidentiality in a case, I've got very, very limited options. You know, I either say no deal, or I try to negotiate for the client a scenario where he gets his reputation vindicated, but the extent of that vindication is not revealed.